Welcome back to another adventure. Today we are going to watch a debate between me and a gentleman, Orthodox Christian, Orthobro, you might say, by the name of Kung Fu Joe. I would link his YouTube, but he doesn't have one yet. He says so himself at the end of the debate, but you can find him on the Panelverse on Twitch. And we had a debate on the right to life implies the right to death. He came expecting to debate an atheist, a secularist, and was very surprised to debate a Christian. And during the course of the debate, I think his worldview got violently expanded a couple times, possibly along with some other things that might have been violently expanded. I'll let you use your imagination. During the course of the debate, I had a very good time. It probably helped that I was a little bit elevated. Otherwise, I might have gotten incredibly frustrated with some of the nonsense. But overall, it was a good debate, and he did have the strength of character to, uh, well, I'm not sure he conceded in his mind, but functionally he conceded the debate. Functionally, that's what happened. I won. Like he was the one to say we didn't have a disagreement by the end. So I will let you watch the debate and decide how it went down. I made a couple mistakes. See if you can spot them and let me know in the comments what you notice. I royally messed up on in one instance. It looked really bad when I watched it back. But I'm not one to edit things and make myself look good. I want you to love me with all my faults included. Thank you for being here. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, join us on the adventure. And for the rest of my loyal companions, I will see you on the next adventure.
We are going to use structure to cultivate conversations where you have to stop and listen to the other person, even if it is just to hear the flaws in what they are saying. So please, everybody, check your weapons at the door. Take notes. Attack the belief, not the believer. After each debate, there's going to be a free link where you all in the audience are going to be able to vote on which side you believe made the best and most compelling case. Again, there are no judges tonight. You are the jury. The only deciders is the people who are watching. So make sure you guys get those fingers ready to cast those votes. Sit back and relax, because this is the DMZ. Now, let's go ahead and kick this on straight over here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce both of our debaters for this first prompt. Again, that prompt is a right to life implies the right to death. I'd like to thank both of you gentlemen for being here and being here on time. Super fucking appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and give each of y'all a couple of seconds to introduce yourselves. Zach, we'll start with you. Please tell everybody, I'm going to drop your link in the chat while you're talking, but go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you're about, and where they can find
you. Can do. Hi, I'm Zach, or you can call me Adventurous. I am a Christian, father, husband, businessman, author, and full-time madman. Pleasure to be here. You can find me at that link. You can also find me on Kick and X. And if you want to buy my book is The Garden of Lies by Zach Piper.
Ooh, thank you for telling me. I will check that out. And now we're going to kick this over to Mr. Joe. Kung Fu Joe, why is that in your face? Oh my God, what is happening?
Oh,
give me one
I
second.
don't know. You got
that was you literally had Zach's ass in your face.
Show them my gains.
All right, so everybody, this is Kung Fu Joe. Joe, please tell everybody who you are, what you're about, and where they can find you. I'll drop your link in the chat.
Yeah, my name's Kung Fu Joe. I'm an Orthodox Christian, aka an actual Christian. And I debate against degenerates. I debate against people who call themselves Christian but aren't. And I play fighting games. So you could find me at Kung Fu Joe _ on Twitch. And I don't have a YouTube channel yet, but I'm usually on a bunch of different debate panels.
can definitely find Joe all over the place. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I found you originally through Lethe's channel, who is also going to be
That's
on
right.
debates tonight. So if you guys know who Joe is, you
Ah,
probably know who Lethe is too. So stick around, you get to see both of them. All right, gentlemen. So I
the
did
homie.
send you guys the format. This is the showcase debates where everything's a little bit longer. Giggity. So you're going to have 5 minutes each to open. We're going to start with Zach. He's going to get 5 minutes to open. Then we're going to go to you, Joe, where you get 5 minutes to either rebuttal or to cross-examine as you see fit. It's your time. After that, you're going to have 5 minutes to open, and then Zach's going to get 5 minutes on the clock to rebut or refute as he sees fit. Then we're going to put 30 minutes on the clock for an open forum for you guys. You guys, that's your time to control. Afterwards, we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock for each of you to close. Now, at that point, we're going to drop the link into the chat, and I will send it to both y'all. I don't know if either of or both of y'all are streaming tonight, but if you are, you can put it into your chats. And then we're going to see how we're going to give it probably about 15 to 20 minutes for people to vote. And during that time, I'm going to have a couple of questions for you. I'm hoping that the chat throws a couple bucks in the tip jar with a question for us as well, and we'll get through those while the people are voting. And then after that, this is, like I said, because it's a showcase, it's not like the usual ones. You guys are not expected to stick around afterwards. You guys can go ahead and call it a night, or you're welcome to hang out if you want to. Entirely up to you guys. But do you have any questions about what we're doing? Anybody?
Not about what we're
No?
doing, but have you
So,
seen in chat? They're saying they can't hear me.
Yeah, no. The very beginning, I fixed it. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm stupid. So
just wanted to make sure.
like I
everybody,
said,
you
I
hear
saw
everybody now. Yeah, yeah. I saw
it.
it. I was watching.
Oh,
That was my bad.
got it. Okay,
Yep. All
cool.
right. So now we're going to go ahead and kick this over to you first, Mr. Zach. 5 minutes is on the clock. Tell us why a right to life implies the right to death.
Sure. So this is one of those logical things that the way the prompt is structured, there's really no good logical way out of it. And the aspect of that I'm choosing to focus on is because of the grave nature of this debate, I shall temporarily lay to rest my proclivity to jest, and at the behest of my own good sense, I shall begin by clearly defining my terms so as not to bury the lead. The right to life is a simple and well understood and largely accepted axiom. Short of deathly serious criminal offenses such as murder, no one has the right to kill me, including, by the way, while I am in the womb, but that's another discussion. The right to death is more contested, but it goes like this. No one has the right to force me to live. And I want to make it crystal clear, this is not the beginning and end of my position. I do not support assisted suicide, and I do not support government death panels, absent criminal conviction. I am arguing purely in favor of the right of an individual to choose not to be alive anymore. And if I choose to stop eating until I die, what right does anyone have to force food down my throat? If I choose to draw blood and then swim with sharks, what right does anyone have to pull me from the water? To assert that I do not have the right to take my own life is to assert that my life does not belong to me, which is in opposition to nearly every secular worldview. If my opponent wishes to assert my life belongs to anyone except me, to what could you appeal to make such a claim? If my opponent asserts that my life belongs to God, then he must contend with the fact that God bestowed me with free will and therefore the right to choose death. In short, there is no logical way to deny a right to die. To any individual that claims self-ownership, if you belong to yourself and you wish to delete yourself, then you have just as much right to do that as you do throw away a ratty stuffed animal. Your life is your possession to do with as you please. And I yield my time.
All right. Then we will now go ahead and kick this. Oh, y'all don't need to see me at this point. Sorry. Joe, 5 minutes is now on the clock. Do with it as you please. You can use it to cross-examine. You can use it to rebut. I will start the clock when you start to talk.
Yeah, thank you, Horseradish, for having me back. Okay, I was not expecting that. To be honest, I was not expecting another Christian to show up um, to be on the other side of this debate. This is going to be bizarre. Um, but anyway, the proposition claims that a right to life entails a right to death. I will show that this is a false purely on secular grounds at first. A right to life is a negative right. It protects you from others killing you. It does not logically entail a positive right that others, doctors or the state, must help you. Well, hold on. You know what? Pause for a second, Horse, because after hearing his opening statement, I realized he's not actually arguing for government-assisted suicide. Am I right,
That is correct. I am
Zach?
not. I am not. Government-assisted suicide is evil. No, I am not in
And
favor of that.
remember, I did pause the clock for you, Joe.
Yeah.
Remember though that this is
You
your
can't interrogate?
cross-examination, not your opening.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're doing right now. So
Oh,
again,
got
you
it.
ask
I'm
these
sorry.
questions.
I'm sorry.
No worries. That's what I meant whenever I said rebut or cross-examine. It's your time to use as you see
Rebut or
fit.
cross. That's right. I'm sorry, Horse. I was
It's okay. It's
unfamiliar
fine.
with your
You,
format. I'm
you've only
back,
been here
though.
like once before. I get it. No worries.
Yep.
As you were,
Okay.
sir. I will restart the clock.
Yeah, so you're a Christian. What do you your life does belong to God, and he doesn't say that it's yours. You didn't give yourself life, he gave you life. So how is it yours to take?
That's that gets into a little bit of a theological conundrum and a philosophical one, doesn't it?
I would
Because
say you are in one right now. Yes, you're
yeah,
in a theological conundrum.
yeah. So let's talk through it. So wouldn't you agree that when someone gives you a gift and then tells you that you are allowed to do with that gift whatever you want, that the thing is now truly and completely yours?
Say that again. A gift that is truly and completely yours?
Yes. So if someone gives me something, let's just say a hat,
Uh-huh.
and they give me the hat and they say, "This is my gift to you. I want you to
Yeah.
do with this whatever you want," and that
Is that
includes
someone
throwing
God?
it away. In this
Yeah, is
hypothetical,
that
yeah.
someone God?
Yes.
So God gives you a hat. Is it your right to throw it away?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so you're saying that
So
God.
hold on. You're making a hypothetical about God. Here's the reality though. God
Okay.
gave you life. He gave it to you. It is his, not yours, right? You don't get to take it. That is a grave sin in Christianity. I don't know whatever cult you come from, but that is a grave sin. Yeah.
uh the ELCA, a heretical wing of Protestantism that I left for exactly that reason. That's where I had my upbringing. So, yeah, you're right. There was some deep issues with my upbringing in the church. You guessed it, 100% accurate, sir. I'm not going to deny it for a second. I'm working on it
So
now.
okay. Um let's see here. So in Genesis it says, "Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image." Then in Exodus 20:13 says, "You shall not murder." In Job 121, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taketh away. The name of the Lord be praised." Like over and over again, we're told not to murder, and we're also told not to kill ourselves. So, do you think that just because you have the ability to take your life, that gives you the right to do it?
No, I don't think
Say,
anyone who's remotely sane would argue that having the ability to do something gives you a right to do it. That is, well, that's like
so, where
this.
does your
That's
right
the
come
essence of
from?
Satan. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm
What are
arguing.
you arguing? Where does your right to take your own life come from, if not God? Because it's not God. I'll tell you that much.
I don't think you're understanding the logical proposition I'm putting forward to you.
I
If
don't know.
if
No,
I
I don't,
give,
because first you're
I'm
saying,
and
hold on,
let
it's
me
my
explain it.
interpretation.
Okay, all
No,
right.
no, because what I'm asking specifically is you're claiming this is your position from a Christian worldview?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This is this is absolutely heretical. Not only did you come from a heretical sect, this reading, subjective reading you have, is heretical. So I mean, if you want to debate where does your authority to interpret scripture come from, I mean, you could concede this debate and we can get into that maybe.
I'm not going to concede this debate. If you want to make this debate about
Really,
that so that you can then
it's
argue the other thing, fine.
you need to come at it from a different position that isn't Christian, because this ain't it. If you want to argue theology on this, I will do that with you. So don't go there. I'm warning you. If you go there, it's going to be pain from you. You better seek some kind of secular position for this, because this ain't it, fam. I'm telling you, you don't want to do this with me.
Bro, I don't think you understand who I am. That's
Okay,
exactly
we'll do
what I'm
it.
saying.
We'll do it. If you want to do a theological debate, we'll do it.
All right. Well, with
No,
that
I want to
said,
debate the
now-
original prompt.
Yeah. So, just to be clear, it was not an accident that it is two people who are Christian that are on this prompt. That was a conscious decision. So, with that said, Joe, it is now that y'all take this conversation as you see fit. I will ask for both of you to try your best to stay as respectful as possible. You both know the vibe and what we try to do here. That doesn't mean you got to put the claws completely away. Just try to be respectful as possible. So, 5 minutes is now on the clock. This is your uninterrupted time to open, Joe. Go ahead and start it up when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The proposition. No, you know what? I'm just gonna scrap this and do a new one on. I'm just gonna riff because I prepared for maybe an atheist defending this position. I think it's insane. I'm going up against a Christian. Okay, so now that it's this, right? What I have to say is he's got a problem. His justification, he claims, is coming from a theological point of view. Now, that's fine if he wants to do that, because I'm going to drag him into how is he an authority on the Bible and what the Bible says about God. That's where he's going to get dragged if that's where he wants to go with this. If he doesn't pick a secular position, I mean, he needs to pick a secular position here in order to defend this prompt, right? If he wants to do it, because if he wants to defend it based on his own theology, he's going to have a problem there, and we're going to be having a different debate. So I just want to warn the audience that this is the conundrum he's in. It's really bizarre, and the thing is, I mean, I'm interested to see where he gets his authority from. I mean, if he wants to argue that, first of all, it's illogical. You can't make a negative right reinforce a positive right, right? So it's like, okay, you have a right not to be killed by somebody, but you have the right to what? Kill yourself? That doesn't seem to make a bunch of sense. Like, if you have the right to kill yourself under a secular worldview, then you're just saying you can do it because you can, right? But that's a slippery slope, because I could punch you in the face, but it doesn't mean I should do it. That's not like the ought we should be going after. So that's another problem for him. Either way he goes, it's a bad road for him. If he goes the secular position, that's what I prepared for. If he goes the theological position, I didn't particularly prepare for that, but I am definitely prepared for that. So with that, I guess I'll yield the rest of my time there, horse.
All right. In that case, Zach, 5 minutes is now on the clock for you to cross-examine or rebut. Go ahead and engage as you see fit. I'll start it up when you start to talk.
Sure. So, I think there needs to be a point of clarity here, because my opponent seems to be getting, like, really agitated, and I think he needs to understand my exact position. I am arguing the prompt which is a right to life implies the right to death. That is the prompt. We are not arguing about what I believe. We are arguing the prompt. I want to make that perfectly clear. And the prompt is a logical trap because linguistically speaking, a right to life absolutely implies a right to death. Logically. I do believe you owe your life to God. You owe your life to your wife and your children. So, I would like to hear you respond to that, sir.
Who's right? Whose right is it?
I think
No, tell me who's right. You're saying a right to life, right? Which you have granted to you. You have granted to you by God, from my point of view, right?
Yes.
Your right to life is granted to you by God. So how is it your right to take it like from yourself?
Because it's my life now.
No, it's not.
If my father chooses to bring me into the world, and my mother and my father raise me up and then honor me with the right to leave their household and pursue my own fortunes, is the life that my parents gave me no longer mine?
No, first, you are wrong at step one. Your father doesn't get the choice, God does. He makes the ultimate choice whether your father is fertile or your mother is fertile or whether they could even conceive you. That's up to God also.
Oh, so you believe in
so
you believe in predestination then?
No, I believe that every pregnancy granted is by God. You disagree with that?
I believe that every child is a gift from God and that every child has a blessed, unique soul from God. But I do not believe.
Whose choice was
bro,
that?
I can't. I'm answering the question, bro. Can you like chill for 5 seconds? So I do not believe that I cannot conceive a child with a woman that God did not deliberately make happen. Naturalistic events happen. Not everything is a divine mandate.
You would say that because you come from a heretical church, okay? That's what I'm saying. I'm going to
Bro,
drag you into the theological debate if you want to talk about, if you want to be some kind of authority on what the Bible says, we can go there and it's going to be pain for you.
that's not my authority. That's the authority of the Orthodox priest that I listen to on Patristic Nectar on YouTube. That's where I get that.
Let me hear I want you to cite an Orthodox priest that says taking your own life is your right
That's
given
not.
to you by God.
Oh my god, dude.
Bro,
you cannot follow a chain of conversation.
What did you just say? Can we run that back again? You said, what did the Orthodox priest say?
If I remember what he said correctly, well, see, here's the thing. He said something and I inferred his meaning. So it's possible I misinterpreted what he said, but and it's also been a minute since I watched the video. But what was he talking about? It's fuzzy. I can't remember exactly what he said.
So first of all, we don't go off of the word of a single priest. We go off of the collective of the church, right? So I highly like this person would be excommunicated right away if they had a pro suicide stance. I can
No, he absolutely no. I'm saying he said something that was not that, and I logically that says to myself, okay, well, if he says that, then opposite this must also be true. Just logically, because of the nature of what he said.
Let me go ahead and jump in there, gentlemen. So we're going to go ahead and we're done with that cross-examination. You guys just kind of were having the conversation already. I should have just started, but we've got 30 minutes on the clock now for you guys. I do want to let you know, first of all, 30 minutes is plenty of time, so nobody should have to talk over each other. But more importantly, if you guys have something that you need looked up, we have the ability to bring things up on screen and check sources, check references. If you guys have something that you want double checked, I will stop the clock. It is more important for us to be accurate than for us to just... So that said, all you have to do is say, Radish, stop the clock, please. And I will stop for you right then. Go ahead and start it up. I'm putting the clock back up as you are, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I read from you 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. Destroying the body through suicide is a desecration of God's temple and an act of ingratitude for the redemption accomplished by Christ. Thoughts?
Yeah. So who was that letter to?
Why does that matter, dude? Did that true or not?
Bro, can you answer? Well, yes, he said that. Who the letter was to matters. Who was the letter to?
You don't have an authority to say who the letter was to or
Oh
not.
my
You come
God.
from a heretical church.
Dude.
I
So
don't get that.
the letter wasn't to the Corinthian church. Okay, cool. So anyways, the letter was to the Corinthian church, hence the name, the Book of Corinthians.
Here, let me
Hence the name, the Book of Corinthians, okay? And that means that Paul was speaking, that means that Paul was speaking to the church. You think that the church and the Gentiles should be governed the same way? You think the church should make people live by a Christian ethos? Is that what you're arguing?
That is the rules from God. If you don't want to follow those rules, you face the consequences after you take the action.
Bro,
you face eternal damnation. What are you talking about?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
I believe that.
God does. Life is a sacrament entrusted. And only God has the right to give or take. Hello?
Bro, you are spurging so hard.
Spurging? What?
You are.
Justification. Hey, okay, find me from your Christian worldview anything that endorses suicide. Anything. I got you all kinds of arguments and passages from here.
Yeah, I thought here. Let me give I can give you a positive scenario to illustrate this, okay? Listen. If I decide to join the military and I become an infantryman on the front line and I routinely volunteer myself for the most dangerous missions to protect my fellow soldiers so that I might give my life for them, is that not me putting my life at danger to protect my brothers? Am I not, in a way, choosing death? And if I am choosing death, is that not a good death to die for my brothers?
That's a fallacy. Choosing to go to war is not the same as the choice to die.
Yes, it
is.
You
can come back from a war. No, it fucking isn't, dude. You could come back from war. God decides if you get on the battlefield. What are you talking about?
Every man who volunteers to go to war volunteers knowing that he might die.
Oh, might.
He is signing his life away.
Yeah, what if he doesn't? If he doesn't die, who decided that?
Ultimately, yeah. God. Yeah. No, God.
There you go. There you go.
But that's not, dude, that doesn't help you. Don't you get it?
Where do you come from? Where do you come from?
Washington State, you should visit sometime. The weather is quite nice in the palms, the pines, the
no,
whispering pines,
I'm,
so beautiful.
I definitely don't want to go there now. There might be something in the water that, you know, I don't know where this argument is coming from, dude. I'm waiting for any kind of justification. This example you gave me was crap.
Bro,
You need to dig up another one.
I'm not arguing you have justification. I am arguing you have the right to do so.
What?
There is a subtle difference there, bro. What are you not getting about that? Linguistically, it's not
Okay,
the same. Logically, it's not the same.
so what I'm hearing from you, I guess maybe like this is the charitable way I can interpret it, is you have the right to choose eternal damnation. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we agree. Is that what you're arguing that we have the right to choose eternal damnation? Is that a good thing? Should we choose that?
No.
So you're on my side of the debate?
Bro, that's what I'm trying to communicate to you. Just because so it does imply the right, and that does not mean that exercising that right is a good thing. That was never my claim.
Why'd you even take this debate? There's like there's no argument here.
Because see, that's what and see in my say and see I just proved
argue about the right to death from this perspective. Hey, yeah, you have the right to actually go the maximum distance away from God. And I'm a Christian, and I'm saying you have the right to do that. It's like, yeah, but we don't promote it, dude.
I'm not
Like, what are you
promoting it.
talking about? Why would you ever take this? Okay, well, the right to life entails the right to death. You don't have a right to life. I don't believe in that as a Christian. You don't have a right to it. It's something that God grants you. God grants you life. You get it as a gift. It's a gift.
So we
it's a
could
gift.
we
when you
that's a whole separate discussion, and honestly I'd rather have that as a discussion than a debate, but I'm willing to have that discussion. But what I'm saying is when you look at the wording,
time with something, because it ain't this, dude. Like, what do yeah, of course, obviously I believe as a Christian that you could choose eternal damnation. I don't recommend it.
I don't either.
It's not, I don't believe it's a right. I was ready to argue rights under the secular view, but if you want to go the Christian route, you don't have a right. It's a gift from God, and it's a gift when you throw it away, there are great consequences for it.
So you don't believe in God-given rights?
That's like a United States like founding fathers type of framework, God-given rights. I believe your right to life, like your life was given to you by God. I believe that. Other than that, I just say that we live in a fallen world, and that living in the path of God is the only, it's the best way to navigate it.
Right, I agree. Yeah, dude. I don't think we ever truly disagreed. Like I said, I'm arguing the prompt, bro. I'm arguing the prompt, and I got you to agree that logically this means this, and
it's not.
That's all I was saying.
It's just that this is a presupposition that we both already hold. So I'm kind of like feel more bad for Horseradish here, because I mean, maybe he thought there would be some kind of disagreement, but I guess we don't have any, so there's no debate.
All right, so I'm going to stop the clock real quick. First of all, one of the debaters conceding the debate doesn't mean there was no debate. He had to bring you to the full understanding of the position and of the prompt, which is in and of itself what debate is for. I will say, I will give you a choice here, Joe.
Yeah.
Because I know that you are also in another debate tournament, a very big debate tournament. And I also know that we are going to be asked to steelman positions we do not hold. So, if imagine we were on that debate, do you just say, "Yep, you were right. I misunderstood the prompt. Huzzah," and we call it a day, or do we find a different way to take the debate? It's your choice. I can start the clock back up, or we can call it, and y'all can just sit here and bullshit about God until the next debate. It's your choice.
Um,
Because really, like I said, I mean,
so,
all jokes aside, at this point, you have literally conceded the debate, and that's not. I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying, in this, he brought you to an understanding of the wording of the prompt, and you said, "Oh shit, yeah, well, yeah, duh, I agree with that." So again, in the course of the debate, technically, he has already
no,
conceded.
that sounds a little disingenuous, Horse,
It
because
does, and that's why I'm giving you
it
this option. That's why I'm giving you the opportunity to turn this into more of a debate, then, because
well,
I
so
do think you just didn't understand
yeah. So
the prompt.
what I do disagree with here, Horse, is
Yep.
the terminology, right? That a right to life, like it's not your right, right? And in the beginning, when he opened up, he said it was his right to take his own life, but under the Christian worldview, it is not.
Well, so hold on. Now, these are notes because this is the other option is I can fucking debate y'all. But what I've got here is I've got some notes here that were places that I thought you guys were about to take, and I was super excited. And I've got questions that I was going to ask as well. And I thought that Zach was about to take it one of the directions with the God-given rights. The idea, so if we need to change the fucking prompt on the screen, dude, we'll do it live. I don't give a shit. But do you believe then that we do not have rights given by God, that literally we have no rights whatsoever? I can understand and concede that you believe that these rights are given or granted by God, but they still, in being granted, are our right. It may be against God's wishes, but by what you're saying and the rest of the things you said, God's wishes are gonna make it happen. If we go to war and I die, it was God wanted that to happen. So if I choose to kill myself,
I'll be right back, gentlemen. I need some water.
God wanted it to
Yeah,
happen.
sure.
So does he
I,
give us
I
the right to choose for ourselves or not?
you what he gives it. Okay, so it's a little more nuanced than that because
We
the
got time.
ability to yeah, because the ability to choose evil is a choice that you are uh, temporally allowed to choose because you exist in a fallen world, right? But God
Yes,
doesn't want you to like choose the fallen world.
he
And
doesn't say
you
that
know
he wants you
what?
to, but he gives you the right to.
I
You
don't. I
have the
don't call
right
that
to
a
go against
right.
his wishes.
It's not a right. It's we
Okay,
don't
how do
see
you
it as a
define right?
right.
Let's ask that. Yeah, let's roll this back. What is a right to you? How would you define that?
In the Chris, if I'm operating under what God grants me as a Christian to be like a right, like I have a right to do everything he wants me to do. I don't have a right to do everything that he doesn't want me to do because there are consequences. The opposite of a right, the difference between a right and a crime is that you get consequences for a crime. You don't get consequences for a right? You get something positive out of a right. So this is not a right in the strict sense. It's not a right in the secular sense either, right? Because the difference between right and crime in secularism is basically like, okay, well, do you do you have a freedom to do something versus somebody taking your freedom to do something, right? God
Okay,
gives
so
you
but let me
a
let me let
freedom
me
to
let me jump in
live.
there real quick. Yep, let me jump
Yeah,
in there real quick. I need you to part because it almost feels like you're using the word right to imply that it is right. A right is not the same as being right, right?
but
So,
we're talking the
yep.
theological
So
content.
freedom.
So
Yep.
now we do have
Tell me where freedom
so
and
now
right separates.
being right
That's
now. Yeah,
pull those two
here's
apart. Freedom from a
yeah
right.
yeah. So freedom from a
Because
right. So
I would say that a right is a freedom to do a thing
right.
definitionally. So
well,
okay,
that's under
so
the
if he's
secular
granting me the
worldview.
freedom, he is granting me the right.
No, no. So under the secular worldview, that would make sense. But in the religious worldview, right is synonymous with righteousness, right?
Again,
The
there are
right that
different
God
uses of
gives
the
you.
word. Yes, I
No, no,
understand.
no.
You
I
say
know.
something
I
is
understand.
right. Okay. Yeah.
I could parse them like I said, I could give you the secular worldview of it, or I could give you what we have here, which is I'm debating with another Christian. So
Sure.
I'm going to give you the Christian worldview of it, which is right is synonymous with righteous. So according to God, you have the right to choose his path. You don't have the right to choose against his path because there are punishments for that. That's a crime under God. It's a crime, so he's not going to save you. You're going to get a penalty.
Where it says that the only type of right is righteousness.
You mean like where rights are righteousness? Well,
That the
so what
only
it
right
is,
we have is to righteousness. That those two words are synonymous, and
God
not
doesn't
that they are
use
two different types of right.
God doesn't use this type of language. It's more like life is a gift from God, so rejecting his gift is rejecting righteousness.
Let
God
me
is omnipotent, right? Omniscient, like he knows everything, sees everything, knows it all, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, in your personal view, why would he have not made it clearer then? Why would he
It's
have why would he
pretty.
have not made it in the words that the simple terms that you just outlined? Why would
I
he have
mean, it
not
says
inspired the people 2000 years ago to write it in modern English? He knew what we were going to be speaking
it's.
by now. Why would he have
I
not
mean,
made it in a universal language?
the English is it is the Bible is in English. It's all throughout the Bible. There's like
But it
one, two, three,
after how
four.
many interpretations? After how many translations? After how many different filters have chosen what or have altered what the actual
Oh,
word
whoa,
does?
horseradish. I gotta correct you on that,
Shoot,
bro.
tell
That
me again.
argument. Hang on, no, just let me answer that really quick. That specific argument you just made. I just want to illustrate how bad some of these new atheist talking points are. Okay, because that's what that one is. That's a
Okay.
new atheist talking point, bro.
I don't know what
We
that is.
have the original manuscripts for some of the
Yes,
books of the Bible. We
absolutely
don't
correct. Yes.
need to take
There.
something that this
Yep.
guy said, this guy said, this guy said, multiple translations. It's not a chain of translation.
I agree.
Each translation of the Bible goes to the source documents. And so we know for
If
a
you go to the
fact that the Bible is a good historical record, and even secular scholars agree the Bible is a decent quality historical document. So
Okay, so once again, yep,
I
nope,
just
hold on. So let me jump in there. No. Let me jump in there. So there are multiple phrases in the original scriptures that have been interpreted because certain words had multiple meanings. And there has been much confusion over the years from those original texts. That is number one. But number two is if you go to any of these modern websites and you go and you look up scripture, it's going to give you 20 at least different translations.
This is
And
not a
there's going to be
problem.
nuanced difference. So the thing is, I understand that everybody believes that their Christianity is the purest or the correct one. But at the end of the day, for all of these different people to be using different types of interpretations for their teachings, when there are plenty of places where it contradicts, these teachings contradict. Literally at the beginning of this debate, the two of you were calling names about your type of Christianity, right? So I mean, again,
uh,
if you have this many people who
for the
believe the
record,
same
he
original
was calling
scriptures,
names. For
I
the
know, no,
record,
I was gonna correct myself afterwards. Zach, you're
yeah.
right. The fire was going one direction, but you know what I'm saying. The fact that we have different people who use these words and interpret. You might not believe that Zach has the what was it you called it? The right to or the fuck. Where did
He
you put
doesn't
it?
have authority. He doesn't have
Authority.
his
Thank you.
church.
You have the
Yeah,
authority
yeah.
to interpret. Right. Who who does?
The
Other
Eastern
than the
Orthodox
original writer.
Church.
No,
The
no. See, why would
church.
the church? Why would the church have the authority?
Because I'll lay it out. This is actually the easiest challenge for me to answer, Horse.
Let me hear
As
it.
an Orthodox, yeah, Orthodox Christianity, we have an apostolic succession that goes all the way back to Christ himself, and we could follow it back there. And Paul writes about the laying of hands. He tells his the rest of Christ's apostles, to be cautious about who you lay your hands on, because Jesus first lays his hands on Peter and says, "Upon this rock I shall build my church." And he considers Peter a first among equals. All the other apostles now become, in the modern church position, we call bishops today. So the laying of hands goes all the way back to Christ, from Peter to each following apostle that they laid their hands on after. And you could trace it back to the church. Now, for the first 300 years of the church, there was no Bible. The Bible was built from a liturgical practice that was done over and over and over again. Then the councils assembled the Bible, right?
And
Through the councils,
they chose which writings were and were not part of the story they wanted told. Yes,
so
I am absolutely familiar with all of this.
So if we believe in the church, Christ said that this church shall not fall, right? It's in there. The church shall not fall. Now, it's like a tree. The tree is planted, right? Some branches may go off in one direction and rot and fall off, but the tree is still intact. And that's why the Eastern Orthodox Church is the original church.
So I'm going to go ahead and double check here. So to be clear, I've been to and read a lot about Christianity. I'm actually a big fan of Jesus. I don't call myself a Christian because of the shit that has been done in his name. However, that said, I come from a very Christian upbringing. Some things, and you might be able to tell me I'm wrong, so I'm not saying them with any authority, but my understanding was, within the context of the speaking that you're talking about, where Jesus said those things, he had just gotten done talking about what his idea of the church was, and the church that he wanted to be built was not a brick and mortar, was not a council of fucking elders.
Correct.
He believed that his people, his flock, was the church. In fact, he even talked about the fact that you should only be praying in your closet by yourself. That prayer is something that is an individual thing, and he does not want it done out in public. People who pray in public are doing so for attention. Furthermore, that's the birth of the Lord's Prayer. The only prayer that we should be offering is, "Thank you, God, for what you've done and for everything you have given me." Not asking him to fucking heal Auntie June's polyp, not saying, "Please give me a better job," not saying, we should only be saying thank you. Again, the church that he said would never fall because it was built solely on the backs of his believers. And if I'm not mistaken, Jesus was generally anti-establishment when it came to a structure of the church. That was the whole thing. That he hated the fucking previous church because of the corruption. He wanted one that was built without an authority. He thought his teachings were going to be all that was necessary to carry his message forward. Why would those words have not been more clear?
One at a time. You're kind of like shotgunning a bunch of stuff out there.
I threw it out. I just want to get it all out. It's all you guys.
Yeah. So, let me try to remember, like,
I can say it all
a lot of things.
Well, hang on.
Let's start.
Yep.
Hang on, Kung Fu. One more time, horseradish. Because there was something that I specifically wanted to address. If you don't mind, Kung Fu.
Well, no, please.
Please. Go ahead.
I can do my thing again. Trust me. Yeah, I can recite all of that again. Go ahead.
Give me that middle segment, horse.
Okay. The middle segment referring to Jesus wanting to build a church on the backs of his believers. I don't remember the exact wording, but basically that the church was going to be made up of his believers, and that's why it would never fall.
Okay, yeah.
What you're talking about?
So here's something that you, as a non-practicing Christian, probably don't understand this concept. So I'm just gonna hit you with this.
No longer practicing Christian, to be clear. Go on.
Okay, but I'm just saying I'm gonna hit you with.
I've gone through the whole thing, but yeah, go on.
I'm gonna hit you with this biblical concept that just chops a lot of what you just said down.
Please.
There is a hierarchical nature to a large portion of Scripture. And some parts of Scripture supersede other parts on a moral framework hierarchy. So, yes, it says this here in this situation, but it's a seeming contradiction problem. Atheists think this is a contradiction in the Bible all the time. They'll say, well, it's this over here, but then it's this over here. And what they ignore is the context. The situation dictated a new principle being applied at a higher importance. And that's
Which
where
was
a
why you
lot
were
of those
asking who that letter
contradictions
was written to.
seemingly exist, but actually don't.
Yep. Which is why in the debate you were asking about where that letter was written to, was because certain things have different contexts. I 100% agree with all of that. Yes.
Yes.
Certain things were written for certain purposes. I was actually going to be snarky, but I chose to keep it in check. But I was going to say something about, I thought that this was Christianity, not Paulinanity, not Peterananity. I want to know about the teachings of Christ, the words of Christ, not the teachings of Paul or the other people who interpreted his words.
It's all divinely inspired.
Yeah. So is the guy in Waco. So is David Koresh. So is Jim Jones.
Proving that. We have no way of proving that.
We have no way of proving any of them were. We have to take them at their word. So if we're going to take someone at their word,
God gave us
horse.
Revelation, though.
Again, like I said, I didn't want to get into the Paulinanity thing. Like it was kind of an unnecessary jab. Going back to the other thing that I was talking about, the idea that Christ definitely says clearly, I believe it was the Sermon on the Mount, that we're not supposed to be praying in public. That we're not supposed to be that while he does encourage fellowship, that it's not that he doesn't want us congregating publicly to pray.
Okay. Horse.
Building, right?
Yes.
We Christians don't generally pray out in public like Muslims do. Christians build a church to house their worship. They do it. Christians are a family. We believe that we are all legitimately a spiritual family.
In the Bible.
Hold on. No. I think I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Hold on. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Because one thing, you don't know me that well, Joe. One thing, whenever I realize I was wrong about something, I have no shame in admitting it. Or if somebody makes a connection, the arguments that I put forth to you are arguments that I'm looking for a fucking solution for. If you can give me an argument that I'll be like, God damn, good fucking point, I don't mind bending the knee and saying you were right and you win. So that said, you're saying basically that they're not praying in public. They are still ultimately praying in their closet. They just made the closet bigger and invited some friends inside.
Yes.
That's actually
family,
that's a perspective I had not considered before. I feel like I might be able to still find a contradiction, because I feel like he does say something about privacy, but I guess group privacy. But he makes another comment about the fact that people who are praying publicly are doing so for credibility, or doing, I don't remember the exact wording, but vanity. Doing it for attention. Vanity, yeah, exactly.
Vanity,
you're doing it. Yeah. You're doing it for you, not for them, right? So again, does that, in my experience in churches, one of the other reasons why I don't go to church is because every church I go to, I am disgusted by the hypocrisy of the Sunday morning Christians, of the I go in and I pray on Sunday, I put on my Sunday's best, but then I go home and I fucking do all of the shit that I'm not supposed to, right?
How many divine liturgies have you been to, Horace?
So none. I've never gotten a chance to go to an Orthodox. I have gone to a Catholic church. I was able to attend Mass a couple of times. I've attended Jehovah's Witness meetings. I have gone to. I was actually. So I was saved in a Free Methodist church. I also have been to plenty of Southern Baptist. Went to a bunch of Pentecostal. Again, like I said, my parents were both raised religious, and when I was born, they decided they didn't want to cram it down my throat the way that it was theirs. But they always told me if I was curious, let them know and they'd take me. I was always curious. But I was curious for a different reason. I was fascinated by the fact of how it's been used throughout history, right? That was what was interesting to me. But I have always been looking, Joe, for somebody to be able to say these things in a way that makes me believe. I know I'm not an atheist. I've never been an atheist. I just think it's arrogant and pompous for us to think that we could have any understanding or to put a fucking name on it. That whatever it is so beyond our concepts that we... But on the same token, I understand that it might just be a fucking energy that we don't understand yet, right? I believe that the science and the woo-woo are all directly tied. The science will eventually understand the woo-woo, but that doesn't make it not woo-woo, right? So
right.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I'm not as
what I would say to that. No. What I would say to that is that I think there's a huge maybe data set left out of your analysis here.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to attend a divine liturgy, stay for coffee hour after, talk to people, talk to the priest, and then bring up some of the issues you've had in the past with other churches, and you'll see the contrast. There's a very big and serious contrast. Here's one. I'll give you the Protestant argument really quick, Horse. So, a quick overview. There's only one church for 1,000 years, up to the schism of 1054, where there's a pentarchy, right? There are 5 major heads of the church.
Yes.
One, Rome, breaks off from the other 4. So into and declares papal supremacy, papal infallibility, the filioque, the divinity of Mary, all these kinds of added things that were never there for 1,000 years.
And that's the first super gross, expensive building that Jesus never would have approved. Go on.
Right. All those things. Now, that's already a damaged schism church, right?
Based.
From there, you get Martin Luther comes off of that split and says, these Catholics, they're wrong and they're heretical in so many ways. Now, here's the problem. Martin Luther knows about the Eastern Orthodox Church. He should be leading his flock back there to the true church. What does he what does he do instead? Because of vanity, because
the same
of
thing Joseph
pride,
Smith did.
He does what he goes and he declares the Protestant Reformation. Here's the problem with that. Christ said he gave us a church and it shall never fall. So what is Martin Luther doing? Saying he's doing what? Reviving a fallen church that did fall? So it's zombie church. Christ has a zombie bride. His bride is dead and came back to life now. That's a major theological problem for the Protestants. They also subscribe to sola scriptura, and that's why it splinters off into a billion different Protestant sects that can't seem to agree on what it says, right? But the Orthodox Church, I mean, if you want to see what attending church in the year 500 was like, visit Eastern Orthodox Divine Liturgy on a Sunday morning.
I want to know what the fucking staff is about. I want to know why they're armed.
Why they're armed?
Yes. Like the fucking staff. They've got this, the costumes and the see, the truth is that's the actual other thing for me is in my mind, I always try to think WWJD, right? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus want? And would he want people wearing gold lame and fucking carrying staves and swinging incense? I don't really think so. I kind of feel like he was more of a let's go barefoot to where the poor people are and let's go talk with them.
Way, but you have to get rigorous about.
Said it. Yeah, he kind of said it. It was pretty fucking clear.
It's not about what I feel.
Yeah. I'm going based on what he said.
I know.
You know what I mean? So
again, here's the thing. Here's another danger horse. This is a danger horse because here's the thing here's a rule about the Bible in my church. I could live my entire life as an Orthodox Christian without ever owning a Bible, without ever personally reading the Bible. Did you know that? There's a reason for that.
That's a brand new one.
Church, for the first 300 years, there was no Bible. There was not even, literacy wasn't even a common thing. The Bible was just a group of scrolls, and there was a liturgical class who was able to read and translate them. That was the laying of hands, right? Paul said you have to, but not just that. You had to lay your hands on educated people who could actually understand the stuff, because the congregation you were teaching to, they weren't literate. Literacy was like a commodity back then. So
of course,
there was no Bible until after the Council of Nicaea, right?
Yep.
So that's the thing. I could live my entire life without ever reading the Bible. Now, here's the danger that a heresy declared by my church that Protestants do. They engage in sola scriptura, meaning the book only, meaning they think that through their eyes, they could summon the Holy Spirit, read the Bible, and then they could go, I know what it means, right? And that's why you have a billion different Protestant churches, Protestant denominations, because they all got a subjective interpretation of what it's saying. We don't do that. We have a history of a tradition of what the Bible says. It's kind of like Shaolin Kung Fu, right? You got the master
No.
who
Hold
chooses to
on.
yeah.
Instead of kung fu, I'd rather use a different. And just so you know, once the other since we've already buttoned up the ship, we don't. There's no point in putting the vote up. For those of you who are just now tuning in a little bit late, the debate fell off the rails once they sort of agreed, and one of them may or may not have conceded. And so that said, we have kind of just moved on to that. We're just having a conversation, and I do want to talk about the actual prompt a little bit more before we go on. I always enjoy having conversations about religion and theology in general. So that said, I would like to real quick before we go back to the prompt. Turn that same logic. Do you hold that same logic when it comes to the Constitution? Do you believe then you are not a constitutional fundamentalist? You do not believe that the way that it was written is exactly the way it was meant to be written, and that the way we
Okay,
interpret
hang
it
on,
today.
really quick.
Yep.
Really quick, before you go any further, Horseradish, I just want to say to Kung Fu really quick. You need to realize that he told you already that he's presupposing a Christian worldview. He's arguing this from a Christian framework, trying to be proven wrong. And so
He did.
I would encourage you to keep that in mind when you answer him, Joe, because he's throwing you an olive branch.
Yeah. Again, anybody who knows me knows that I will shit on people. That I will shit on the church, but I do not shit on the faith. The faith is I'm 100% a fan of, and more importantly, the only reason that I shit on the church is because of the shit that has been done by the church. So again, but which church? And everybody thinks that their church is the real church. So,
but okay,
what
so
mine really is.
I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back up Kung Fu here. The Eastern Orthodox Church is the real church.
Is the original church. Yes.
Yes.
Sure. I will absolutely agree. It is the original church. But going back to my question real quick. Joe, do you believe that about any other documents that, like, specifically the Constitution? And if you just say yes, that's fine. I don't know. I don't know if you're a constitutional fundamentalist or not.
No, I'm not. No, because I have a fundamental problem with this country is that it was built by Protestants and they had this kind of wonky belief in rights and stuff like that. I'm more of a monarchist, so I don't really care what the Constitution says.
Yeah. See, and anytime I hear the word monarchist, I'm going to throw you a fist bump first because I like you, Joe. But anytime I hear monarchist, the first thought that crosses my mind is I don't bend the knee, bud. Like
Christian monarchist, actually.
I understand, but nevertheless, I don't bend the knee. Like I'm not willing to sacrifice my fealty that way.
Well, you might be doing anything
patriotism
not to do, though, right? Like there might not be. Yeah, I know, but the freedom to do anything is like, look where it gets us, right? Actually,
it might not be ideal. It might not be ideal, but it is fundamental.
Yeah,
this was the prompt. This was the prompt. This is a great segue.
Right, yeah.
Because even though, and what Zach was saying at the beginning, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But I need to have the fucking choice. It is my choice to make. And every interpretation of those scriptures, Solo Spectrorum or Avada Kedavra, I still believe that in the Bible it says God gives us free will.
Sure,
but does it say that in the Orthodox Church too? Does God give you free will in the Orthodox Church?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
no,
cool.
It does.
So that is your right, granted by God, right?
Well, here, let me draw a contrast for you, Horst. Do I have a right to go over the speed limit?
That is a really good argument there, Joe. That is a very good counter. No, you do not have the right to go over the speed limit, but you do have the ability. You are granted the ability, but not necessarily the right.
Right. That would be an analogy to this.
Yeah. No, that is you, but you are given the choice to, right? So That would be that. Let's say that's the distinction. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still not a fucking right. God damn it! Why didn't you
Well,
say that in the debate, motherfucker? That was
well, and
really
that's but
good.
that's
It's a light bulb. Light
That
bulb
was a really
moment.
good argument. You should have said 21 minutes ago.
It's God beamed it into my head just now.
Yep. No, there you go. See, there you go.
see,
No, but real
yeah,
quick.
because the Holy Spirit, right? Because you're a born
I
again
guess.
Christian, and so you have the Holy Spirit. So God speaks to you with divine inspiration, right?
But
Almost
it
like
was his
if you're
choice,
reading
though.
his scriptures and
Yeah.
trying to know him, and you pray to him and you worship him based on the scriptures, that can lead you to a connection with the Holy Spirit if you believe in
He's talking
him.
to you, Joe.
I am talking to you, Joe. If I believe
Okay.
the
I
Bible
just
and it leads
realized
me
that
to
at
the
first I
Holy
thought you were
Spirit,
talking
how
to me.
can you possibly say I'm not a Christian?
Okay, well, hold on. I'm not. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I'll say to you, Zach. You could have a basketball hoop in your backyard, and it could be below. It could only be like 6 feet tall instead of regulation NBA height, and you could be shooting that bad boy all day and be like, you know what? I love basketball. I watch it on TV. I shoot it in my backyard. I'm a real basketball player, and I'm an NBA player. I come along and I'm like, nah, man. I hate to break it to you, but basketball has a full court. It has a 10-foot basket. It has all these other rules. I know you love basketball, but I hate to break it to you, you're not league player. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I don't like the
That's all I'm
analogy.
saying. I'm sorry, but
I gotta give it to you, Joe.
Yeah.
That's 2 good points in under 20 minutes, man. 2 good points in under 20 minutes.
We dragged a little bit, so I had to make up for it.
I really. See, here's my problem with that analogy, though. Because if I'm watching it on TV, and I obviously know my hoop isn't regulation, and I'm willing to say, okay, I think I'm that good, but I'm willing to bet you can make me
Think it
better,
is.
coach me, and give me the chance
Right.
to earn a spot on your team, that would be
Absolutely.
the student submitting to the authority, right?
I extend the invitation to you as well, Zach, to attend Divine Liturgy.
I've thought
I
about it.
absolutely highly recommend it. Yeah.
I've thought about it, and
And
I'm seriously considering it.
it.
But there's a lot
What
of.
I'm saying in the analogy, Zach, I didn't mean it to be like a dunk on you or anything. I was just trying to be like, hey, man, you're out here in the wilderness a bit. You're doing your own thing, but it's not the real thing. But it doesn't mean you're not invited. You totally are. I encourage it.
All right, so real quick.
Oh,
let me
shit.
jump back in there.
Sorry.
You gonna fucking yak, dude? Did you bust
No.
ass? What's up? You
No. I swallowed
You
water.
call someone?
I swallowed water, and the
Yep.
burp came up at the same time. that really
God willed
sucked.
it, buddy, because God willed it. That's the whole thing. So okay, so here's my other point. Back to the prompt. So you do not believe, Joe, then, that we have a right to life. You do not agree with the idea or concept of a right to life.
No, I believe right to life is a little wonky. I believe it in the Christian sense that life is a gift. It is a gift given to you, and it is not yours to throw away.
Well, but okay,
Right.
so you see where the disconnect in definitions comes, right? So not necessarily right meaning righteous, right meaning right meaning.
It's a gift.
by the way,
So in a way, you could say it's a righteous. It's a righteous right in a way, meaning that you have the right to do good. You don't have the right to do evil.
right. So okay, so
If I were to break it down that way, so that you understand God's gifts as rights, then that's the way I
Right.
would translate it to you.
So
Yeah.
the right is what you are allowed to do with it. It is yours. You have rights to a thing, right? So for instance, if I have water rights to my property, okay, or mineral rights, if I have mineral rights to my property, you do understand that that has nothing to do with the word righteous. Yeah?
Sure, we're talking about different
Yes, we
terms.
are.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly
I know.
right. Okay,
Sure.
so with that, the prompt here is that I have mineral rights to my life. And if I have
Mm.
mineral rights to my life, then that would also mean that I have mineral rights to my death. That is what the prompt says.
Now, is this like are we looking at it through the secular worldview now?
I'm saying that in any understanding of a right to life. So again, it doesn't have to be secular. It's just
We
definitional
we
because
kind of
even in
got
Yeah.
Christianity,
And horseradish, I
Christians
said that
believe in
earlier.
mineral
I said that
rights,
earlier.
right?
It's a linguistic argument.
we
Yes,
yeah, we got to
that was
pick
how we
one. We
started.
can't
Exactly. Well,
because
so my question goes back
yeah,
to you said that God does not give us any rights. Is that correct?
I don't look at it as the like in terms of rights. He gives us duties.
But so okay, so God does not grant us as his people any rights. We do not have any rights granted by God.
Rights is like a recent concept, like it's like a made up human concept.
It goes back to before Jesus. Rights is
Rights?
a yes. Rights goes back
Yeah,
to
but
before Jesus.
God is there. I mean, I don't think God speaks about like rights in that way. He gives us duties, right? Duties, and then forbids us from things that we aren't supposed to do, sin, right? So we have duties, we have sin, and we have gifts. That's the way I look at it.
All right, taking a quick look. But to all who did receive him, who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. John 1:12. So the Bible definitely explicitly acknowledges that definition of a right. The right being
What is the definition of a right?
the definition of a right, insofar again, like mineral rights, is dominion over or choice to control, right? But let me I will. That's. Let me look up the exact definition for you. I don't want to just give you my personal definition,
How about you
but
look this up? Look this up, horse. Under
yep.
the
Hey,
under the
hold on, real
yeah.
quick. Let me, because I got it right now. A moral or legal claim, privilege, or entitlement. So, anyway, go on.
Okay. Now, why don't you search if the under the Eastern Orthodox worldview does God give you the right to take your own
Yep.
life?
Oh well, I'm sure that they probably say no, but we'll find out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Eastern
no.
Orthodox world. Yeah, I'm gonna go hard with the no here, but how would I even fucking phrase that? Grant the right? Well,
You
because
could
no,
say
they wouldn't grant it. They would
God
acknowledge
grant.
it.
No, if
Right.
it's
But
under
does the Eastern Orthodox worldview acknowledge the right to death? Acknowledge.
This is from chat, and I think this is actually a very astute observation. What Joe is saying, I think, is a right is something you can do without consequences.
Oh yeah, no, that's
right.
not what a right is though. There can be
So do you have the
consequences
right
to
to go
you.
over the speed limit?
So I believe that there are certain natural rights. Okay, let's start there. I believe that we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let's use that as my default position. Okay, within that, I can absolutely find myself in a situation where the execution of my right to pursue my life can also end in consequences. Right? There are consequences for everything. Just because you have the right to something doesn't mean it is free from consequence. I have the right to free speech, but that doesn't mean there isn't consequences for my free speech. The Eastern Orthodox does not acknowledge a right to death, such as active euthanasia or assisted suicide, viewing life as a sacred gift from God. However, the Church does recognize the natural reality of death, permitting the withdrawal of extraordinary medical life support to allow the natural dying process to occur. So apparently, the Eastern Orthodox Church does allow pulling the plug. So
That's fine. Yeah, it's fine to not
Sure.
like overly exhaust the prolonging of a life that's already on its way out.
Sure. So, going back to my original question here, because we only got a couple minutes left, and then we're going to go ahead and roll this the fuck on. So, do you believe then that God does not grant us any rights? We as humans do not have any rights, as the definition that I just gave you.
But as okay, because you went over like life, liberty, and the pursuit of
Those are
happiness.
those are my ideas of rights. No, I'm going back to the definition of the legal or moral. Fuck, I goddamn. I
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah, yeah. So
You
like,
remember? Yeah.
there's a certain context under which rights it might be, yeah, given to us by God. So under that definition, I think the chatter is right that a right from God, meaning it's something given that you're able to do without consequence. But there is grave sin that he warns us about. That is, if you go against your duties, if you go into sin, that you are then, it's not your right because you instantly meet with consequence. That's just like what we have in the secular worldview of rights, right? You go over the speed limit, you meet the consequence. It's the same thing here. What would a right be if not a freedom from consequence?
So,
That's a good point.
when we granted free speech, do you believe that free speech is a fundamental right in the United States?
No, I think free speech
Whether granted by the government or granted by God, do you believe that free speech is a right?
No, I don't.
Okay. Then yeah, it does come down to a semantic difference of the definition of the word right. So again, and that's perfectly fine. Again, that's actually the perfect way to end this, I think, is acknowledging the fact that it all came down to an interpretation of the prompt, and the word rights specifically has so many God blessed interpretations and definitions.
Last question, Horse.
Shoot, yes, sir.
Do you own yourself?
Do I do what?
Do you own yourself?
Absolutely. Well, and my wife
Really?
has some. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Yes.
you couldn't be bought as a slave and traded on the slave market?
Not legally.
Well, legally in another part of the world you could, right?
Are you? Well, sure. And at other times throughout history. Now, my rights
Right.
were
So you
being
don't truly own
infringed
yourself,
upon.
right?
Sure, my rights were being infringed upon. Somebody was taking or absconding with my property without my permission. But that
Rights
theft
are
happens all
real.
the time. Yeah, theft happens all the time. It
Rights
doesn't
are
mean that I
actually
don't have the right to my
no.
possessions.
The concept of theft isn't real either. Rights aren't real. Theft isn't real. All those things are made up concepts. They can just be
Right?
whatever.
You're dropping this when the clock goes out, man. Where was that one 30 minutes ago?
Oh yeah,
Theft
Whoa.
is not real.
Great.
I think
Whoa.
theft is. I'm gonna put another 2 minutes on the motherfucking clock. I need to
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
theft.
yeah.
Theft is not real, please.
Bro, what
No.
the fuck?
It's like, as far as it's a made up human concept, right? Like, in this very country, slavery used to be legal. What's the difference? Well, we just changed it, right? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't actually own yourself. Someone else could come and take ownership of you. Under the cough lockdown,
And it's called theft. Like,
so did the government theft my time and my freedom to me during the cough lockdown when I couldn't
some people would say yes.
public?
Yes, arguably that was stolen from you.
It was.
Yeah,
100% it was, dude.
I would get behind that. Yeah, I would get behind
It
that.
was. So right. So I didn't
Theft
have
is
a
real.
choice in
That
that,
doesn't
did
mean you
I?
didn't have the right. Yes, you did. There would have been
No,
consequences. Oh,
Conse-
you asked
Bro,
fucking
Kung
with the
Fu, do you
attitude.
not see what your argument?
Yeah.
Bro, Kung Fu, your argument logically leads to abortion.
Thank you. We would have gotten there. This is a debate for another time. God damn it! Again,
Sure.
I wish we wouldn't have talked about the Orthodox Church so much. I wish we would have been talking about this, but that's okay. It was a pleasure
Okay.
as always, gentlemen. I'm sorry, chat,
For
you guys
sure.
didn't get to vote. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. At least I did. I don't want to put words in y'all's mouth, but I'm
No,
gonna
it
do
was
this one more
good.
time.
This was
All right,
good,
so
man.
It was nice. It was nice meeting you, Zach.
And
Yeah,
I
a
want to
pleasure,
go
man.
back to the fact that I intentionally, when I saw y'all were on opposite sides of this prompt, I said I would love to hear two Christians have this conversation, and I was not disappointed. Even though it fizzled quick, it was still an entertaining 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Yeah.
something
So,
like that.
anyways, Zach, one more time for everybody out in the chat who just got to listen to all that. Tell the people who you are, what you're about, and where they can find you.
Hey, my name is Zach Piper. You can get my book, The Garden of Lies, on Barnes and Nobles. I'm a Christian, a father, a husband, a business owner, a writer, and a full-time madman. Praise God the Father. All glory to Him. Thank you for being here.
Cheers. All right. And Joe, same to you, sir. Tell the folks one more time, please, who you are, what you're about, and where they can find you.
That's right. Thank you again, Horseradish, for hosting tonight. I am Kung Fu Joe. You can find me on Twitch at Kung Fu Joe _ at the end. I get into fighting games. I usually play like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I might be playing the new Avatar Legends fighting game once that comes out. I do debates like this. You can find me on different panels. I debate against atheists. I debate against evolution, feminism, things of this nature. I don't have a YouTube yet, but I probably will. So you'll see me around on panels and stuff like that. And I don't know. You'll probably start to see me more because I'm doing a lot more of these. So thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And for what it's worth, he forgot to do the shout out.